I believe God put me in prison to not only save my life, but to give me life.
I grew up knowing Christ. I knew he was there. I was aware he was there, but I never knew him.
I was completely lost, completely hopeless. Really didn't know who I was, really what I was doing.
I was a struggling heroin addict. I had been addicted to drugs ever since I was 15. My grandfather allowed me to move in with him, and I ended up starting to steal from him in order to support my drug addiction. I ended up going to prison for the robbery, and I served a year in jail for the theft.
I was pregnant with my youngest about 4 years ago now, and the doctor had come in with all of my blood tests and all my results and everything and kind of sat down with us and said, hey, we're seeing problems, and we think you may have cancer, and we really can't do anything right now to look further into it without putting your pregnancy at risk. So we're going to wait. At the same time as we were going through that, our oldest child was going through heroin addiction. You almost feel like you're swallowed by all of these things, these mounting things that you're going through together.
I grew up in a family that my mom took me to church when I was younger, and so I heard the message of hope, the message of Christ, and I loved it. That was great, but things changed as I started to get older. I couldn't wait to get away. I went off to school at Indiana University in Bloomington, and man, life was good. But when you put a kid in a setting like that who has no moral compass, really no direction, really doesn't even know why he's there, man, anything can happen, and anything did happen. Jumped into the party scene and realized, okay, I can do this, and I'm pretty good at it, and a lot of people seem to have a lot of fun when I'm there, so let's keep doing that. Every now and again, though, I would think back to those younger years where I felt like I had a relationship with Jesus. Just hurt, and I didn't know what to do, but I felt like I was so far gone that I couldn't go back.
My whole life, even before I was introduced to drugs, I always had a sense that there was something missing, that something was just never quite right. I am taking a nap, and all of a sudden I wake up, and I didn't open my eyes, but I just knew, I could sense that it was God who woke me up. And in my heart, I just heard a whisper, you need to pray. So that night I prayed, and I ended up turning into a Christian radio station, which I'd never done before. And as I'm sitting there, laying in my bunk, listening to all these lyrics of these songs and bawling for about 2 hours straight, just my feelings of guilt and shame and regret just totally washed away. The weight was lifted finally.
I've always known Christ. I just never dived in until, honestly, all of those things fell apart for me. And we didn't have anything else to lean into but Christ, and we didn't have anywhere else to go but to let him save us. Knowing that God is there, you know he's there, and you know that he's sort of following you and waiting for you to acknowledge that, hey, I'm here. In a weird way, he said, if you're going to just ignore me, then I'm going to put you in some situations that make you realize that I'm it.
I was up with some friends, and an enormous amount of alcohol was drank that night, so I thought it'd be a good idea for me to drive my buddies home. Don't remember a thing of that drive, but I do remember waking up the next morning. I'm face down looking at the ground, and the next thing I can hear is, you're done. You're done. You're done. It's like with every beat of my heart, face down on the ground, and I hear this voice, you're done. It was like the weight of the world literally had just fell off my shoulders. I had been running so hard, so long, away from God, not knowing who I was, not having an identity of my own, to all of a sudden, like, just push restart.
I'm still currently in work release, and I don't get out until next year in July. I'm not sure what God has in store for me, but I know he has something powerful for me to do. When the Lord sets you free from such burdens and vices so strong, that's the power of God, and only God is able to do that.
Everything that we go through now, if anything happens, we're like, okay, he's got us. We're not going to worry about it. And he does. I look at it now, and it's like I have purpose. I know what he's called me to. I know where I belong. I'm just very thankful and blessed that God has rescued me.
I had nowhere else to go. I had nothing to offer him. But in spite of that, he invited me in. He rescued me. And that was not on my own.